What's up, everybody? This is Nick D. Ray from TheLastWord. Today I'm going to be talking about a little bit about the Blazers and some of the struggles they've dealt with. All right. So to start the season, it's been a little bit rougher for the Blazers. We were all kind of expecting the Blazers to be, maybe a 5 or 6 seed in the Western Conference. Some people said they weren't going to make the playoffs, but let's be real, that team, I don't think most people expected the Blazers, to drop from a third seed in a Western Conference finalist team to go straight down to looking like it was a bottom of the league team. But over the last couple of games, I've noticed the team has really actually dealt with a lot of their problems that they started off the year being so down upon. So a big one of these was chemistry. You looked at the game. If you were watching the games, you'd notice that Blazers were getting high turnovers. They were the dead last in the league in assists per game. Um, I believe at one point, I think like 12 games, 15 games into the season, they were averaging 17 assists, which is just not good for a team, in any way, shape, or form. And then now recently they've been starting to step it up. And if you've noticed, like over the last couple of weeks, the numbers, the wins that we've gotten over the last couple of weeks have spiked up, and they're definitely improving. And we're looking a lot better. The bench, though, has also been another huge problem. We just don't have the same scoring on the bench. We have a couple of good bench players, and our bench is really, really young. We have guys like Nasir Little, Gary Trent, Anthony Simon, sorry, Scala all these guys are super young. And then we have a great starting lineup. Don't get me wrong. To start the year, we started off with Dame, CJ, Rodney Hood. We had Zach Collins, who was really nice, and then we have Hassan. And then obviously Zach Collins got the shoulder injury, which kind of held us back because he was supposed to have a pretty good year. Um, he Hassan was talking about how he was kind of his blocking buddy, and then he got the shoulder injury, obviously, and it seemed like our season was kind of spiraling downhill. And then about halfway through like about 10 games ago, we got Melo. And this was a very controversial pickup. A lot of people don't like Melo. A lot of people think he's too much of a ball hog. He's inefficient. That he's not going to help improve our game. But I would like to just say that he has really been playing out of his mind out here in Portland. I mean, his field goal percentage isn't that good. I know 42, 41%. But in the games that he's played well, those are the games that we win. Like, he's kind of like the X factor for our team at the moment. And his defense, everybody always complained about his defense and his passing. Obviously, I'll get to that in a minute. But he is now averaging career highs in both blocks and steals, which should not go unnoticed. And in his passing, if you watched his passing, he's actually making some pretty great plays. He's really fitting our system. And we had, at one point, we were putting on Anthony Tolliver. I'm not very much of a fan of Anthony Tolliver. He can't shoot that well. He can defend kind of moderately well, but like he's not the same as Melo, obviously. And when he was on the floor, I've noticed that like we just couldn't shoot the ball as well because we couldn't stretch the floor enough. Because whenever we passed to Anthony Tolliver, he would shoot these shots and just kind of break them all. I'm gonna say, and then we picked up Melo, and then you look at it, our floor spacing is fantastic. I mean, you look at teams like 76ers, they whenever they're playing against zone defenses, they just crumble because they can't shoot. But I mean, if you think about it, the Blazers have Dame on the outside, they have CJ on the outside who can also hit some middies, and obviously Dame can drive and CJ can drive to the paint. We have Rodney Hood, who at the beginning of the season was actually 50% from the three, and then sadly got injured. But he got injured, and he was leading the league at that point in 3-point percentage. And then we have Melo, and Melo can stretch the floor really well because we're not forcing him outside of three like the Rockets and OKC used to do with him. Um, and he's able to hit threes whenever he wants. And he's able to do the little mid-range shots that he does, like the powerhouse mid-range to get the step-back fadeaway shots. And he's been shooting really well from the mid-range. And then now I believe he averages 41% from the three. He got he got a left knee contusion I think yesterday, and he'll be back. He missed tonight's game, which was versus the Timberwolves, but he'll be back I think in within a couple of days. Um, and I would just like to say, well, everyone should apologize to Melo because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people didn't think Melo was gonna fit in at all with the Blazers, but he, as a Blazer fan that watches the games and then later on rewatches the games, he's been killing it. He's knocking down his shots. He's playing great defense. As I said before, he's averaging career highs in steals and blocks. He's getting boards. He's fighting for boards. I know a lot of people are a little bit against of his language when he grabs boards, but he at least enthusiastically goes after boards. And I think that's really important for a team to have like enthusiastic players that come in and like kind of change the vibe on the floor. And then the defense has always been a little bit of a question for the Blazers. Well, the Blazers over the last couple of games have really stepped it up. I mean, tonight I think they had 9 steals and 12 blocks or 11 blocks. Obviously, 7 of them were Hassan Whiteside's, and I think 2 or 3 of them were Scal Labissiere. But then on like steals, we had guys like Kent Bazemore and C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard that are getting their right share in steals. And and I would just like to say this. I don't think people are noticing this, but C.J. McCollum has really, really stepped it up on defense this year. He currently leads the league for shooting guards in blocks with point 0.8 per game, which is pretty crazy for a 6'3" shooting guard. And he's really been killing it, and I'm pretty psyched that he's actually stepping up on the defensive end. And then Dame obviously is actually a pretty solid shot blocking point guard. And then Melo's been stepping it up on the blocks, as I said before. Um, and then obviously Rodney Hood got injured, which is a little bit of a tough issue for us. Bazemore was supposed to come off the bench and kind of come along with our second unit. And Rodney was better at stretching the floor with us. But Bazemore has a really, he's really, really good at defense. I mean, you look at this guy, he has some insane chase down blocks. And he's able to lock down some opponents, which is really helpful for us because, as I said before, we've kind of had some trouble with guarding guards and small forwards. And then, obviously, I think this team really can be a very solid team in the West, but all they need is to recover. And if you look at Nurkic, he got injured. Obviously, he broke his leg 7 or 8 months ago, and he's supposed to come back in February. And when he comes back in February, this is what I think we should do. I think we should play Nurk and Hassan, and we can try and like keep him at like 60% Hassan, 40% of Nurkic, like on the field at a time. I don't think we should play them together, but what I think we should do is play like maybe Scal Labissiere at power forward, or we can keep Melo at power forward. We can have Scal Labissiere come off the bench as power forward, and then we slowly over time allow Nurkic to adapt to playing more and more time. And then by the end of the season, we won't even need Hassan anymore to play the center. So what we can do is possibly trade Hassan and someone else to a team so that we can get more bench scores or guys that are a little bit more experienced. Because at the moment, we have a lot of very young players that are like just came out of college, and like obviously Anthony Simmons is like 18, Nasir is like 19. I mean, not, sorry. Now Anthony's like 20 or 19, but they're still very young. Scala BCR is a little bit older than them. I think he's like 23. Gary Trent's younger, 21, 20. But all these guys are a little bit inexperienced, which is why I think we should try and get some more experienced players off the bench to come help, and maybe a passer off the bench would be very helpful for us. But I think the Blazers are right on track. I think by February we can really make a push and actually come back and make ourselves known as like a actual good team in the West that could surprise people come playoff time. Well, that's all the time I have for today. So thank you guys. This has been The Last Word, and I'm Nick D. Ray. Check out some of our other videos, and thanks for listening, guys.